Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading vlog. I am so excited for this one because I feel like this reading vlog makes the most sense. I'm gonna be reading books in this vlog that I bought because of booktubers. Now, to be fair, 99% of my TBR shelf was purchased because I heard a booktuber talk about it and it sounded interesting to me. But I just thought it'd be really fun to kind of hone in on these specific books that I purchased because these booktubers raved about them. And I think I want to do this in parts because this first reading vlog, this first part, is the 4 booktubers I found initially when I first searched. I think the first thing I searched when I found booktube was what I read in X month. It was whatever month I had finished. I was like, what I read in August or something. And the first 4 people that popped up, clicked on them, fell in love, took their recommendations, and we can move forward. So I have definitely fallen down the rabbit hole. I follow so many different incredible booktubers now, but these 4 were the first 4 that I found, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of hone in on that. And I picked some books that I felt really, I don't know if they really define this booktuber, but when I think about them and what I purchased specifically because they recommended it, I thought it'd be fun to talk about it. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Sarah Caroli, Gabby Reads, Riley Marie, and Books and Lala. So I have 2 horror, 1 romance, and 1 sci-fi. So I want to kind of separate the horrors. I'm going to start with Gabby Reads. So Gabby Reads' recommendation, and she highly recommended this, is The Haar by David Sodergren. I've been really wanting to read this. I've been really wanting to see if I like David Sodergren's writing, and I bought it specifically because Gabby recommended it. So this is gonna be the first one that I read. Then Miss Sarah Caroli, I feel like this was like the first thing I saw from her is Magnolia Parks. This is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I have a full series, which is really exciting because for me personally, I buy like 1 book at a time in a series, which I guess is great for the wallet, but I have the whole series of this, so I'm truly hoping I enjoy it. But I do have Magnolia Parks. From Riley Marie, she talked about this, I think, in her 2023 favorite books of the year, which is crazy, and I bought it specifically off of that. I've never heard anybody else talk about this, and therefore I have to give it to her. It is The World Gives Way. This is by Marissa Levian. It's sci-fi, and I have only read a couple sci-fi books, but I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy this, especially based off of what she promoted it as. So I have that from Riley. And then from Books and Lala or Kayla, I have The Haunting of Velkwood. This is by Gwendolyn Keist. She would not stop raving about this book, and I was like, okay, sold, in the cart now. These are the 4 books I'm going to be reading in this reading vlog. Thankfully, 3 of them have washi tape on them, which means they are a part of my 25 and 2025. So that's great. I'm knocking some challenges out, and I'm excited to get started. So I'm going to start with The Haar from David Sodergren, inspired by Gabby Reads. Hey, I'm here with an update on The Haar. I probably realistically could have finished this in 1 sitting, but I guess splitting it up into 2 sittings because I read the first 50% or like 48% or something last night. I'm on chapter 15, page 98, and there's only 209 pages in this book, so I definitely feel like I could finish it. This is a body horror book, and normally I'm not a fan of body horror. Also, the camera's dying. Hold on. Okay, where was it? Talking about body horror. My husband's doing dishes downstairs. Normally, I am not the biggest fan of body horror in books. It is not my genre of horror. Yes, I like. But this is like kind of funny. Like there is like a scene where they talk about like an anus, and it's just like, saying that out loud, I'm sure you're like, Kirsten, like that's not funny. But like the way they described it was so funny to me. Maybe it wasn't to other people, I don't know. But we are following Miss Muriel, okay? And she lives in this sweet little Scottish town that a big, mean American is trying to buy up to put a golf course. And he is adamant. He is buying, like, he's like basically bullying these old folks to get out of their home. And she's just like, not. She's, no, why do I want to give in? This is my house. Like, I bought this house with my husband, or my husband built it, or I don't know. But like, they live there forever, and like, this is her house. Why does she need to move? And she's so mean. I love it. I just love how sassy and mean she is. And one day, all this construction is just going on. It's constantly driving the community angry because they're like, the construction's going on because they want to move people out. But it's just absolutely annoying. And one day this Haar comes, which is like a mist. It's a mist that comes from the ocean, and it brings something with it. And I thought it'd be something like this, and I guess it kind of is a little bit in a way. But it's like weird what it brings, a creature. And this creature is just like, I don't know, just kind of wreaking havoc. And I kind of love it. And not only that, you read the end, it says, it's a gore-soaked folk horror fairy tale. And I believe it. Because there's a little bit of like sadness to this, and a little bit of like romantical sadness. Romantical is not a word. A little bit of like romance sadness, and I'm kind of vibing with it. It's good. Interested to see where the second half of this takes me, because the first half was just a lot, and I'm liking it. I don't know quite yet where I would rank this. Like, I don't know as far as my rating goes yet how I'm feeling. So far, I'm liking it. So far, I would give it a 4. But we'll see. That could easily go up, or it could easily go down. You never know. I finished The Haar by David Sodergren. This is such a quick read. I definitely feel like you could read this in one go. And ultimately, I'm giving it 4 stars. It's like, I don't know. For me, I give out 5 stars, like, kind of willy-nilly sometimes, but I also feel like for me 5 stars is like a vibe. Like if I'm like really loving the book, I usually give it a 5-star, and this book was great, don't get me wrong. A 4-star, highly recommend, and I really did enjoy it. I remember, or maybe I just made this up, but I thought David Sodergren was like a very scary horror author, and I know horror can be very subjective, so for me this wasn't scary. This was actually I think I wrote this in my Goodreads review too. This almost felt like a romance, like a romance with horror elements, because it was just so like kind of sweet at the end, and I felt very uplifted almost at the end versus being like scared at any point. I will say, as far as body horror goes, I don't usually like body horror. This was fine. I had no problems with this one. It was pretty cut and dry, good, quick horror read, and I do think I'm going to look into more books by David Sodergren. There's a couple other titles I was interested in, and I mean, these are really quick short horrors. The covers are so good, and I'm glad I read this. It was on my 25 for 2025, so I am glad I picked it up, and I am glad I read it. But yes, I'm ultimately giving this one a 4 stars. It wasn't a 5, but I did really enjoy it. We can move right along to the book. I've been anticipating reading this book for so long. I remember when I first got into Booktube and I found Sarah, and even other booktubers that I followed at the time were all talking about Magnolia Parks. I think at the time, latest Daisy Hates had just come out, the 4th book in the series, like not even the newest book, and there's gonna be another one I heard too, but everybody was talking about Magnolia Parks, and I was so interested in it, so I'm really excited to get started on Magnolia Parks. This is the first one. This is by Jessa Hastings. I did of course purchase this because of Sarah Caroli. This was like all she was talking about at the time, and I was so excited, and I'm really interested in getting to read this. It looks like it's dual POV from both Magnolia and BJ, and I've heard many things about both of them, and I'm very excited to get into this. As far as I know, it's just this like toxic couple in London, and on again, off again, maybe, I don't know, but it's a pretty long romance, contemporary romance, and I think this is Jessa Hastings' debut novel, which is crazy, so I'm excited to jump into Magnolia Parks. So I figured I would give you guys a halfway through update of Magnolia Parks. I'm like halfway, 60% through, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I was definitely a little like nervous about reading it because I felt, I don't know, I just didn't know how I would feel about it. I didn't know. I knew going into this that Magnolia and BJ had a toxic relationship, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that I personally enjoyed reading, and so far I'm really liking it. Like, it's not a hard read. It's really fun to read about. It's also reminding me, if you've ever read the Click books as a kid, it's giving me those vibes with like Gossip Girl, and obviously they're much older. They're like, I would say maybe college age, but yeah, Magnolia and BJ are from this like socialite families. They run in a group of people that are all socialites and all have money. Like, they don't work, they just party and are semi-famous, I guess, in London. And Magnolia and BJ were together since they were kids. They broke up because BJ cheated on her. She doesn't know who he cheated with, but she has this like idea of who it is, and I also feel like I might know who it is as well, but who knows. I feel like that's gonna be something we find out later. But they're so toxic that like they're broken up, but they still like sleep in the same bed every night. They don't do anything, they don't kiss or anything, but they like almost act like a couple still. But BJ goes off and like sleeps with a bunch of girls, and she seems like a very relationship type person, so he sleeps with girls to get back at her. She gets into relationships to get back at him, and she's currently in this like fake relationship right now to like bother him. But I really like the guy she's in a fake relationship with. Like, he seems so lovely, so I'm kind of sad because I really like him, and I just know that this book is like they're fated, BJ and Magnolia, so it's like I know something's gonna happen to them as a couple, and unfortunately something's gonna happen with BJ and Magnolia getting back together, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm really liking it so far. I'm excited to see what happens, and I don't know how this is gonna end. I have no idea how this whole book is gonna wrap up. No idea. So I'm excited to find out, and I hopefully will finish this soon so I can give you guys more updates on it. We're in such an odd spot for this update, but I didn't really know where else to go. You're literally in the corner of my living room. My cat's cat bed is right here. She may or may not go over to it. Who knows? My kids are doing like their nighttime routine right now, and I was like, this seems like the safest, my quietest spot in my house right now. I finished Magnolia Parks. Yeah, I went through it really quickly. I talked about it before. It was such an easy read for me. Most contemporary romance is easy to read, but I just felt like I was flying through these pages maybe relatively quicker than I would any other, maybe. I don't know, it just felt like that. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I couldn't get the 5-star feeling that I wanted to, but I do really like this, and I do have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy the series. However, I will say, or no, however, I'll say but. No, maybe not but. Let's just put a period, and we'll move on to a new sentence. I was so shocked by the ending. I fully didn't know where we were going with this story. I had no idea like what was going to happen, how it was going to end, if it was going to end on any sort of cliffhanger, and it kind of did, and it really shocked me. Did not see that coming. It was very out of the blue, and it makes me really excited to read the next book, which is Daisy Hates. And from what I've heard, the next book takes place during this exact same timeline, so it's probably going to be, or I think it is from Daisy's point of view, which you only get a couple like sentences from Daisy, and you hardly really meet her in this book, and you kind of meet her brother a little, and I like her brother a lot. But I'm really excited to see the next book. I'm hoping to get to it soon. My like mental TBR is so full right now because of course I'm doing like vlogs that I would like to do, like specific reading vlogs with specific books, and then I'm also doing like challenges and stuff. But I'm hoping to get to Daisy Hates like really soon because I had such a great time with Magnolia Parks, and I'm glad I did because I did spend a lot of money on the whole like set of books already, and I am not that type of person. I am always the type of person to buy one book in a series at a time, which is it does bode very difficult for when maybe they change the entire cover, or that happened to me with Flawless by Elsie Silver. They changed all the covers, and I had just bought the first book, and I was like, welp. So you know, that happens sometimes, but this, I'm happy that I did make that purchase because I was going to be really upset if I didn't like this book and I had just purchased all of those books. But I did enjoy it. I'm really happy with it. I think this vlog is going well so far too, 4 stars. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the sci-fi pick, which I don't have with me. Actually, yes I do. I did bring it downstairs, hold on. Now we're gonna move on to the sci-fi pick, which I am halfway through. This was recommended by Riley Marie, and she's the only person that I have seen recommend this book. I have not seen a single other person talk about it, but the way she described it made me want to purchase it, and so I did. And this is The World Gives Way. This is by Marissa Levian, and it is sci-fi, and like I said, I am, yes, halfway through. I'm on chapter 22, page 213. I'm hoping by the end of today I can get to page like 300 and hopefully finish it tomorrow. I do have White Lotus to watch tonight though, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm already a little tired, but I'm really enjoying this. So breakdown of what's happening here in The World Gives Way. Yes, it's sci-fi, but it feels almost like there's science fiction elements, but it is like just a general fiction book, if that makes sense. So we're following this girl. I've been calling her Myra. It could be Mira. I think Mira makes more sense. I've been saying Myra in my head. We're following Myra. So it is very far in the future. Earth is, I'm assuming, collapsed. All of humanity is on this massive ship, and it's like, the way it's described is there's different like cities, so I don't know how big this ship is, but it is huge, and there are pretty much everybody that made it to this ship, very, very rich people. Obviously, I would assume so. Like, if the world were to end tomorrow, who's gonna get on the ship to leave Earth? You know, the elite, the people, the billionaires, the people that have a ton of money. Like, you know, us folk are just gonna be hanging out. So Those are the people on the ship, and then contract workers, so essentially people that are the workers, the people that have to kind of run everything. Mira is on a contract, and in 50 years she'll be free. And this ship is in space heading to a new home, but they have been in space for hundreds of years, so this is all Mira's known. And as a contract worker, she works for this very rich family called the Carlyles. It is a wife, a husband, and their baby Charlotte. And one day there's a noise and she walks outside and realizes that the Carlyles adults are unaliving themselves because they have found out information about this ship and they don't want to exist on it anymore. And let me just quickly look. No, the secret is not on the synopsis, so I will not be telling you what they have found out about the ship, but they basically just unalive themselves, and Mira decides that she's going to take the baby and she's going to run. So we are getting Mira's perspective as she is kind of like a fugitive because she's under this contract and she has the baby and she's taking care of the baby. Like, she loves this child like it's her own, and she's going from like town to town, so we're kind of discovering each town as she runs from security because she assumes that security is going to think she did it, which rightfully so. And then we're also following from the perspective of Tobias, who is like the detective on this case, and it is very much so like a cat and mouse game. Like, we are following him and her, and like he almost catches up to her and then she gets away to a new place. And then in between each chapter, every once in a while, there's a chapter that's like a page or two about whatever town that they are at. So for example, right now, or when they went to this place like called Nabalt, I'm pretty sure you got like a whole page about like the information about how Nabalt was formed and where it like originally came from and things like that. So it's really interesting, and it does feel like not like a mystery in a sense, but it just feels kind of more like a general lit fic with science fiction elements. And then the secret they have found out is very disturbing and it sucks, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm hoping to finish it by tomorrow. But I am enjoying it so far. It's not giving me the 5-star feels, however it is giving me 4-star vibes. Like, all of these books are giving me 4-star vibes. Finish this in the middle of this. I'm just ready to keep it moving, and both of these were on my 25 for 2025, so that's kind of exciting. All right, you're in my reading spot because I was filming a sit down video, but I did end up finishing The World Gives Way last night, and I am so bummed by the ending. I'm not gonna lie. I know I was really excited about the first like 50-60%. I talked to you guys about it and it was so great. Like, I was really enjoying their perspectives and like all the different cities we were seeing and traveling to, and then it just kind of plateaued a bit. It just got really boring and I was like, oh, okay, I don't love this. I will say the ending was very sweet and like wholesome, and I liked how it ended, but I just felt like that like 20% at the end there was so odd. I just like, that's not what I expected to happen, and I felt like the author could have done something a little bit different maybe. But I do still want to give this 4 stars because I did still enjoy it. I did 3.75. I rounded it up to a 4. It's good. I don't know, I just feel like that ending could have been so much better. I also do think, so this is I think the second science fiction book I've ever read. If you're new to sci-fi, I think this would be a good one to start with. The science fiction elements are very like few and far between. It's really easy to understand. It almost feels like even though they're on this ship traveling through space, it almost does feel like they're on Earth in a way because they're in different cities and stuff, so it's like not complicated to understand. But I'm just kind of bummed because I was really looking forward to this one. 3.75, 4 stars. And last for this video, my final book, I am reading Books and Lala's recommendation. She talked about this book so much last year in 2024. I wanted to own it, and that is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Keist. I went to add this last night to my Goodreads currently reading, and I was like reading the synopsis. It said, for fans of Yellow Jackets, and I said, oh, that's me. So now I'm even more excited to read this. I kind of know a little bit about synopsis, but not too much to where I feel comfortable sharing yet, just because like I don't know. But it does say a suburban ghost story about a small town that trapped 3 young women who must confront the past if they're going to have a future. I just know it's a ghost story, and it's short, like it's a little over 200 pages. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this one today, and I'm really looking forward to it because fans of Yellow Jackets, like, yeah, yes please. I might be a little bit backlit because I have these 2 lights right here and I have no light like above me, but
we're here to talk more about The Haunting of Velkwood. So I am almost done with this book. I'm on chapter 11. This is page 159 out of like 200 and some. Definitely gonna finish this tonight, and it has taken me a little bit of time to read it just because I started reading it on a work night, and I get so tired so quickly when I'm reading on work nights, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I will say, before I give you guys a synopsis, it's not giving me 5-star feeling just yet, but I feel like if it ends really well, which, like, I mean, I guess, yeah, if any book ends really, really well, you're gonna give it a 5-star. But I kind of have a feeling of where it's going. Also, it might go a completely different way. Anywho, The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Keist. We are following our main character. I don't remember her names ever. Her name is Talitha, not Tabitha, Talitha. And Talitha is like sort of infamous. Her and her two, I guess, like ex-best friends are infamous because when they were younger and kids, their entire street, which was called Velkwood Street, became haunted. And it's like a phenomenon, like a natural phenomenon that like everybody was super interested in at the time because like, it's, what do you mean it's haunted? It basically blocked itself off. There's like, think WandaVision, where like nobody can get in. It's a street of 8 houses, completely like you cannot get in. It's like there's like a force field, and everybody inside, we don't know if they're dead or not, but they're ghosts. Essentially, they are ghosts. They're haunting this street. The street is stuck in time. No one can get in, no one can get out. Like I said, think WandaVision. Talitha is infamous for this because she's from this street, her and her two, I guess, like ex-best friends, because she's 40 now, and this happened when she was in college, because the 3 of them went back to college the night that it happened, and it happened the next day, and they were the 3 that kind of escaped this haunting, this natural phenomenon. Basically, the synopsis says that this block of homes disappeared behind a near impenetrable veil that only 3 survivors could enter, and only one has in the past 20 years until now. So her friend Grace went in just like right after it happened, and like came back and basically was like, they're all still there, and that's why everyone, like the scientists and the researchers and everything, know that it's like it's haunted. Guy, who's a researcher, comes to Talitha, you know, she's 40 now, so it's been like 20 years or so, and is like, I want to research this. I want you to go back in. And she's hesitant, but she does eventually go back in. It's very strange. The synopsis doesn't explain any of that, so I'm not going to go too far into details, but like, it is like WandaVision. Everything is stuck in time, and she comes back out and it's weird, and it does get spooky because, you know, when she leaves, things come with her, and when she goes in, like, time passes weird, and we're kind of following what's happening there. She left and this veil came down. She left her mom and her little sister, and she has this like tense bond with her little sister, and the only reason she really wanted to go back was to see her little sister. So she's doing that. There is this like light, well, I wouldn't say light, but a very like romantic sapphic relationship with one of her best friends, and that's, you know, explored a lot more in this, and I'm actually really enjoying reading about that and reading about their history, I think, before the veil happened. But I do like about this book is like the chapters are quite long for such a short book. Like I said, I'm on page 159, chapter 11, so like I got through 10 chapters in 150 pages. That feels like a lot for someone who really likes shorter chapters. I will say though, sometimes they feel a little bit long, but then like the very end, they have this like cliffhanger ending at the end of every single chapter that I love. I eat that shit up because I just, it makes me want to keep going, which is why like I want to finish this book so bad tonight. It's feeling a little spooky. There's clearly something wrong with this street, obviously, for obvious reasons, but like I said, every time she leaves, something comes with her, and that's what's kind of creepy, is that it's like the street is pulling her back. It's like trying to bring her back. It's like a haunting that's trying to bring you back. And like I said, I'm not getting the 5-star vibes quite yet. I would say right now it's giving me 4-star. Like I do like it. Ending will dictate my rating, as most ratings are for me, but like I said, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm excited to give you my full review tomorrow probably, because I do plan on finishing this tonight. I literally only have like this much left, so I'm enjoying it so far. And I love the premise of it. I think the premise is crazy. It also reminds me of like Under the Dome a little bit by Stephen King. I like it a lot. I like the premise. I hope it goes a good way, because there is some like things happening that are a little weird, but I'm still vibing with it. So I feel like this entire review has been just like, we'll see, but like, you know,
we'll see.
So I finished The Haunting of Velkwood, and overall I am going to give it 3 stars. Now when I give a book 3 stars, that's not a bad rating. I think a 3 star is a really good rating. I enjoyed it. I liked the premise of it. I think the whole, like, the street being kind of like under the dome, WandaVision-esque, was really interesting, and it's such a great concept. I loved that. This book was on the shorter side, and I've come to find that I actually really do love longer, slow burn horror, and so I feel like this story could have easily been very like slow burned out, but I guess I get why it was so short, and it still had an impact. It still packed a punch. I just don't think this is my personal favorite type of horror. I enjoyed the relationships in this. I enjoyed the friendships. I thought the like sapphic relationship was amazing. I love that we got to kind of see them as like childhood friends to lovers, which I quite enjoyed, but it just wasn't my favorite type of horror. However, I am still really happy that I read it, and I do still recommend it. So if it is something you're interested in reading and you liked the premise of it and you thought it sounded interesting, I do suggest picking it up, especially because it is shorter. I mean, you'll fly through this in maybe 1 to 2 sittings. It's quite easy, but again, just a solid 3 star from me. So of the 4 books that I read for this video, not one of them was bad. I actually enjoyed all 4. I had a good experience with all 4. I will say out of the 4 though, I definitely think Magnolia Parks was my favorite, and therefore I think maybe I should go deeper into some of the books that I bought because of Sarah, because I mean, to be fair, I've bought quite a few books because of all of these people. I do think I want to continue this series and maybe try 4 other booktubers that I watch. But yeah, out of these 4, I enjoyed all 4 of them. The Haar was a great time. The World Gives Way was a good time. Obviously, I love Magnolia Parks, and The Haunting of Velkwood was also great. I mean, this video wasn't a failure by any means. Like, I have found some new books to add to the shelves that I do enjoy, and I'm happy that I purchased them. Not one of these I'm going to unhaul, at least not right now, and I'm happy with all of these purchases, and I do recommend all 4 of these. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I had a great time reading these books, and I had a great time finding books from booktubers that I enjoy and seeing if maybe our tastes align a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in my next one.